Okay. Hi everybody. I'm Céline Louche. I'm Céline Louche, professor at Audencia Business School. Welcome to this first live session from the MOOC.
Hi everybody. I'm Céline Louche. I'm Céline Louche.
We have a technical problem.
Welcome to this first live session.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So sorry for this technical problem. So I start again. Hi, I'm Céline Louche, professor at Audencia Business School, a professor in corporate social responsibility, and I would like to welcome you for this first live session of the MOOC. Today we have the chance to have with us Jean-Philippe Poulnot, that I will introduce you in a few minutes. Just before we start, do you have any question? First of all, can you hear me well? So just maybe you can write on the chat if you can hear me well. And if you have any question with regard to the content of the MOOC, with regard to the discussion forum, any question with regard to the MOOC, please, you can write it on the chat. Do not, please, let me know if you can hear me. Thanks. So I see that Laura is here and she can hear me. Great. Okay, it's working. Fantastic. Hi, everybody. So again, if you have questions with regard to the MOOC, we can take a few minutes before we start the discussion with Jean-Philippe. Okay, it seems that there is no question for now. Do not hesitate to ask your question during the live session and we can answer the question while we are discussing. So for now, what I'd like to do is to introduce you our very special guest speaker, who is Jean-Philippe Poulnot. Jean-Philippe is the board member of the UP Group in France, a president of the UP Group Foundation. He has been working at UP for more than 25 years. He is also very active in what we call social solidarity economy. He is holding many mandates at worldwide, in Europe, in France, around the world, with regard to the social economy. He is also the vice president of the Mont Blanc meeting and a member of the international leading group on social solidarity economy at the United Nations. So welcome, Jean-Philippe.
Welcome. Thank you.
Glad to have you with us today. Maybe could you tell us a little bit more about the UP Group? I'm not sure that everybody knows the UP Group.
Yeah, I will try. I will try. First of all, I would like to say hello to everybody. To introduce the UP Group. The UP Group was created in 1964 in France as a workers' cooperative. It has been created by trade unionists who wanted to develop, let's say, the CSR part, the social part of the CSR, and especially in giving the possibility to the workers to have a meal voucher to help them to have a decent meal during the working day. This group was, well, from its creation in 1964 to 1985, was just developed in France on one product, on this product. Maybe I can tell you a little bit about the cooperative, workers' cooperative, because it's not a usual, well-known model. In fact, the company belongs to the employees. Well, make the decisions through the General Assembly and through the board. And the board are essentially people coming from the workforces. In fact, there is something, let's say, a little bit schizophrenic, because at the same time you make the decision of the strategy, for example, of the development strategy, the CSR strategy, and in the same time you are working for what you have decided. That's quite sometimes quite strange. By the end of the 80s, we decided to develop in the first time, and the board decided to propose to the General Assembly to develop in, well, let's say at 1.5 hours from a plane from Paris. And progressively, we decided to go to Italy, then to Spain. Then there was some years after a new discussion with the board, and we decided to go in Europe, and especially with the opportunity of the Eastern Europe, we created a subsidiary in the Czech Republic, then in Slovakia, then in Romania, then in Bulgaria, then in Poland, and everywhere. In fact, in this part of the Europe. Well, some years ago, there was a big fight in a seminar of the board, and the idea was to change the perimeter of the group. And after a long discussion, we decided to change in our strategy to write that the up group should develop essentially in Europe. And 2 years after, we were developing a subsidiary in Morocco, then Turkey. And finally, 4 years ago, we decided to go worldwide. And that's the reason why today we are in Brazil. We also are in Mexico. And we are looking at new countries.
Maybe just a small question, Jean-Philippe.
Yes.
So, a few questions. In outside France, do you have the same name? Is it called the UP group, or do you have different names? Just that maybe people can recognize the group in different countries, in their own country.
So just let me say how we decided to develop, because there were two different manners to develop. Either to create a subsidiary from scratch, or buying companies. When we decide to create a company from scratch, well, opportunely, she's called, for example, Up Spain. But when we bought big companies such as Civale and Mexico, well, last year we decided to call it Up, then Civale. And it is the same in other countries. Say, and to add is the companies we bought everywhere in the world that are regular companies. They are not cooperative companies. And that's the reason why we've got a lot of work to do in the future to match the goals we have decided at the board.
Yeah, because indeed one of the specificity of the UP group is to be a cooperative company, as you said earlier, that the government system of the corporate governance of the company is very different from other companies. I hope it's very clear for the participant about what is a cooperative company. So if you have questions about that, do not hesitate to ask us, Jean-Philippe more question about how does it work, what is it exactly, but as you said, the employees, the workers, they own part of the company at the same time they work in the company.
Yeah, of course. The company belongs at 100% to the employees. We do not have any other.
Maybe just a question also that.
And everybody's got the same amount of share, yeah?
Yeah. No, sorry, I cut you. Yeah, there is a question also from the participants about exactly the products and services. Someone is asking, do you provide only meal? It's not that you provide meal for the workers, it's about meal vouchers, so it's slightly different. And maybe could you tell us more about your products and services that you offer to clarify that?
Yeah, of course. Well, at the beginning, we were just proposing a meal voucher, but in the life of the company, we decided to diversify the offers. We today produce, for example, well, vouchers and cards and smart apps for payment in the fields of the gift vouchers, gift cards, in the fields of culture, with cultural cards and vouchers, in the field of music, in the field of home services, and we've got something like about, well, in the field of corporate expenses, for example, to buy the petrol, the oil for the cars, for the trucks, etc. And we've got something today like 100 different products in the world. And some of them, and a part of the app group is developing high technology systems. Mm-hmm. For example, managing a part of the help from the state given to the people. Recently, we just launched a card with the French government to help the refugees to feed their well, to buy goods to eat or at pharmacies. And to give some figures, our group is today well represented in 2K15, a financial volume, issue volume of 6.6 billion euros. We've got 1.2 million customers. Mm-hmm. We've got something like 22 million users within the world, and we are around 3,000 employees.
Mm-hmm. So that's becoming a large group, actually.
Yeah. And we have to keep on developing.
Yeah. Some question from the participants here. They are wondering, how do you choose in what country you are going in, and how do you choose the companies that you buy, that you integrate into your group? Do you have kind of criteria, social, environmental criteria? So how do you make your choices?
Well, to make our choices, the first thing I would like to say is that we've got a direction which is coping with strategy and development systems. So we have scanned the all countries in the world to determine where we should set, where we should create subsidiaries, and we take into account something like 50 different criteria. And the criteria are legal criteria, are stability, economic stability criteria, are the habits of the people, etc., etc. Try to, well, when we decide to go in a big country such as Mexico or Brazil, this is the headquarters who decide to create these countries. But when we decide to go, for example, in a small country, like such as, well, Tunisia, this is the area manager who proposed to the board to create or to buy a company in this country. Mm-hmm. So today we aim at developing in Asia and in South and North America.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that leads me to the question of, in the MOOC, we talk about corporate social responsibility, but I know that within the UP group, you don't really talk about CSR, but more about values. And could you tell us more about what are the values of the UP group and how do they play a role, and how they are playing a role in this international development, also with the challenge of how can you keep your values while you are growing in terms of size, while you are expanding in different countries. And when we talk about values, we know that the values in Turkey are very different from in Asia, from in South America, from Europe. So how do you manage all that? So this notion of value, which is key, I believe, in your group.
Well, we've got a lot of values, but we've got essentially two that are very strong, and these values are equality and solidarity. Equality, you can understand that every shareholder, workers' shareholder, has the same amount of the company capital, and when we share the results, everybody has got the same part of the result of the results. Whereas coping with the question of the the president got the same amount of money than everybody in the company. It means that we developed very fastly during the 20 last years, and our companies that abroad are essentially regular company. So we launched a very big project 3 years ago at the board level, which has been voted by the General Assembly at 88%, to create a project whose name is of Roots and Wings. And in this project, the aim is to associate every employee of the group whenever in the world to the capital of the companies of the group. We want to reinforce our cooperative DNA. This is very, very strong. This is a very hard job because we have to convince people in the countries, and the cultures are not the same in the south, in the north, in the west, in the east, etc. And the first part of this project was led in January 2016, the first, when 4 of the core business company in France became part of the cooperative, and we doubled the number of workers cooperators. We today have to cope with some other subsidiary in France, those who are working in technical purposes, issuing data cards, chip cards, etc. And maybe the biggest problem we will have to face in the future is the rest of the world, because in any country there is a different legislation, and we've got to work hard on the question of the legal environment of any countries.
So yeah, legislation is different from country to country. It's one of maybe one of the main challenges in this development, and bringing all over the world this notion, new values, which is about equality and solidarity, and which is embedded into your corporate governance in this notion of being a cooperative organization.
Yeah, of course. But I would like to tell you a story, because some years ago we decided to create a CSR Direction, a CSR team with a manager, but we had a different approach than many other companies, because we asked on the basis of the volunteering to who wants to work on these purposes. And we've got at the headquarters something like 150 people who volunteered to help, and in a subsidiary something about 100. Okay,
wow.
And everybody brought its contribution to the question of CSR. And I would like to say that in our mind, CSR is a little bit of environment, because we are not an industrial company, and a lot of social work. Let's say concerning environment, we've got a very high quality headquarters, producing I don't remember the name in English, but no toxical gases, etc. Well, we would probably change our supplies for electricity to go on green electricity. We also produce our own honey, and a lot of people are working on this purpose. And we also, we make a lot of things, including vouchers and cards, to develop the solar energy, etc., etc. But the main purpose is on social basis, because to give an example, at the General Assembly of the company, you've got the workers who are at the same time the employers and the boss of the company. Everybody receive a very important training to understand the strategy, to read a balance sheet, etc., etc. This is mandatory in our company. We invest something like 4 to 5 4 to 5 more than the legal obligation in France, and it's the same in the countries everywhere. To give some small spots example, we have decided that the operating language of the group was a French language because we're a French group at the basis. So every of our managers in the world receive courses to speak French, training to speak French, etc. We've got a lot of things like that in our company. And we develop, for example, the sports, which was nice sport resort in the headquarters, and we try to develop it everywhere in the world, etc., etc. Because in our mind, the employees should be really well in a good mood to work correctly and to work hard.
Can I just react? There is a question from one of the participants. But first, I would like to have a small question to you, because you said when you launched this, what you called CSR Direction, lots of employees actually wanted to be involved, had ideas and wanted to be engaged in that. Does that mean that the employees that you attract have a special interest for social and environmental issues? Do you attract a certain kind of people because of who you are?
Of what we are and who we are, we attract a lot of people that are, well, that really wants to create something like around these social issues. But we also attract a lot of people who have worked in the regular companies, sometimes in major companies, and who wants to live something else, because to have another kind of professional life, because we are proud to answer to two main questions. The first one is what I am working for, and our company is working for developing the social progress in the world. And the second question is for whom I am working. And you are working in our company for the community of your colleagues. And this is a very, very, very important strength. And what I can, to give an example, people are really, we have a very low turnover concerning the employees, and we have, quite proud of it, a very light percentage of, very tiny percentage of illnesses.
Yes.
People feel good in our company.
Right.
And just to give you a tale, when I joined the Up Group in 1991, I talked to the president, and I just told him, I am here for 5 years, and he just told me, okay, we're gonna talk of this in 5 years. And I changed my job in 5 years, and it's 25 years that I'm here. and I still want to stay
there. Yeah. I just want to highlight those two questions that you have put forward, which are, I think, very important about that I think are all the employees, which are key for all the employees, is what are we working for? So you are kind of always questioning that to make sure that the social aspect is part of it. And for whom I am working, it's also for the community, for the colleagues, and of course for the clients. But that's also this, I would say, this taking into account different stakeholders in responding to those questions. So I think two very important questions. Let me read a question from one of the participants. Dania, she is asking, does every employee is part of the decision-making process at UP, or is he or she kept aware of the ups and downs of the organization, playing with words.
Yeah, well, this is the question of governance, government of the company. Well, the idea is that the manager in our company is not the same manager than in other company, because we are talking with everybody to find the best solution and to help the emergence of new ideas, new concepts. We've got a very innovative capacity to propose to any employee of the company to suggest, well, new ways to work, positive ways to work, etc. What I would like to say is that we've got something like board meeting in within a year, and we, the board members, reports to the employees after any board. We report by video, but also by meeting people in a room and ask them, do you have questions? Would you like to suggest something? Do you feel it's a good way? Do etc. etc.
So the board members have a direct relation with the employee, so you meet them regularly.
Yeah. We've got a direct relation with them for two. The first reason is that they vote for us when we decide to when we decide to candidate to the board, and it is quite logical that we report to them of what are the decisions of your board, and we do it directly with exchange with people. And for example, today at this moment, there's 70 people listening to another board member who is summing up the last board.
Okay, and how do they?
And we've got that every day.
Oh, sorry, yeah. And how do they take part in the decision-making process? Can they come up with ideas, with suggestions, also as a strategic level?
Of course. And what we foster is that the managing forces are listening to any suggestion, and we sometimes launch big challenges on new ideas, new technologies, etc. And people can create a little group of 5-6 people and propose a new application. And there is a jury, and the jury decides what would be developed. For example, this is one of our practices. We've got very strong practices on innovation.
Okay. I just want to come back shortly to the CSR direction, because I think it's a very interesting part of your story, because actually, was it 1 week or 2 weeks ago, not that long ago, you decided to dissolve this group as an official group in the structure. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I can tell you more. We have decided to change this direction because, everybody has integrated the CSR in the group, so it has no specific utility to keep on working on CSR, because everybody's got the reflexes where is reacting on the way of CSR. And we've got a lot of proposals from the employee in the company to create and to foster new possibilities. For example, I can tell you that downstairs in our car park, we've got a very big recycling system. The employees can come with a lot of either books, CDs, etc., and it is treated by an association who recycles or sell back a second lifestyle to people who cannot buy them. So we do a lot of things like that in the company. And in that case, it was not, there were no longer any utility to keep this CSR direction. Department.
Yeah, it's so well embedded into a company that actually that is not necessary to have an extra direction for that.
Yeah.
I have a question from Sarah. Sarah is asking, what were your first difficulties when starting your business? Was it hard to convince people of your work's importance? So how did you convince people, and what were the challenges when starting
Well,
the group up?
yeah, you are talking of 1964. Well, the idea, because if you look at France in 1964, this was in industrial France. It was not a service company France. There were very few services, and this purpose of the meal voucher were really innovative. So we I was two at the moment.
Mm.
I was 2 years old at the moment, but the idea was to convince at the same time the employers that and the work to do that has been done with the employers was to make them understand that if your employees are well fed, they will be more efficient. Then we had also to convince the trade unions, but it was quite easy because it was a new help for the employees. Then we have to convince the state and the government that they should probably give some kind of tax reduction or to help to foster the system. So I don't know if it answered the question, and I hope so. But what I can do, I can say, is that we have a very big advocacy work within our company, and we have and we are working a lot with our whole ecosystem. And in the ecosystem, there is the employees, the customers, the states, politicians, journalists, researchers, schools, etc.
Yeah, so working, yeah, that's, I was going to say, working with the ecosystem was key to make your business accepted, to continue and develop, and still is today very central in the way you are organized. I have a question from Anne-Claire. Anne-Claire, because that's right, you are the you are the president of the foundation of the group, and Anne-Claire is asking about the role of the foundation within the group, and how is it linked to the CSR strategy of the group?
Well, the foundation of the group was created in 1999, and the idea was to give solidarity with the social economy, social and solidarity economy. And we helped a lot of projects, new projects, innovative projects, sustainable development projects to develop or to be created. I will give you an example. 10 years ago, we had a team of young students who came to us to ask to the foundation some support, and they created a company which is a cooperative company, which is called let me guess, Eticable. We also, for example, supported a company which is a cooperative company whose name is Enercop, and the idea is to distribute green energy, etc. So we integrated in CSR in every project of the foundation.
So the foundation is here also to stimulate, encourage the cooperative models in France, but around the world, I guess, to support those small initiatives and to help them to grow and spread the word.
Yes, because we are convinced that the cooperative model is a very good model. We also want to be one of the ambassadors of the social and solidarity economy in the world. To give you an example, when we decided that the foundation should go abroad, we discussed with the Foreign Affairs Ministry in France, and we signed up a contract to help identifying, with the help of the French embassies, in the French embassies, network the good associations or cooperative to help. And this is a fantastic job. And we are really proud when we meet the people, because we meet them, and this is great, because sometimes with not much money you can help a project to born.
Maybe as this week, that was the week on the strategy and CSR, could you tell us more about how your values, your model, having CSR so well integrated in the company helps you to be different from others, helps you in developing new products and services that are in relation with some of the sustainable challenges, more social challenges in our society?
Well, our baseline, philosophical baseline, is to help the progress, social progress in the world. So we always try to create and imagine services that will bring more to people, a positive added value to people. And this is the way we are, conceiving our new projects and services. Does it answer to your question? Does it answer?
Yeah, and partly. And and how in terms of, I don't know, does it make you bring your competitive advantage with regard to your competitors?
Well, one of I think our most important advantage competitors is that we are really deeply rooted in our ecosystem, and we are in capacity to co-design, to co-develop, to co-manage, to co-create products and services. Let me take an example. When we decided to create the chèque domicile, which is a voucher to pay home services, we decided to create a company with all type of company that would work in this system, with the whole stakeholders. For example, we had the trade unions representing the people who received the service or who delivered the service. We had the cooperative banks. We had the whole networks of association that were giving home services, etc., etc. We've got this capacity to co-design, co-create, and co-manage a lot of things, and this is one of our important advantage. Structure of a company give us another very important advantage against our competitors.
I have someone is asking Naya, sorry for not saying your name correctly, but she's asking for concrete examples, but also she's asking for, could you tell us about the impact on society? And maybe in terms of example, you earlier said about this car that you are developing, for in France, for the immigrants, for the people who don't have access to the bank, and I believe it has a direct impact on our society and helping really people. Maybe it's a nice example.
Well, the idea was we had a very big problem in France, but it is the same in Europe, and it is the same quite everywhere in the world. We've got solutions, and we try to develop solutions to help people that are constrained to be refugees. Because before we launched this card, there were two solutions. Either the state gave to people money, cash, and this was really dangerous because people stole us cash from the one, from the other, etc. Either, and it was quite stupid, they proposed to give you money on your bank account, but when you are a refugee, you do not have a bank account. So the possibility we gave, and we designed with the state while talking also with association taking care of refugees, was to propose a card that would be loaded every month, depending on the size of the family, and that would be accepted to help the local shops and to help people to feed themselves, etc. This is brand new because we launched it in February this year, and we are today talking with the European Union to propose this service for other countries. And I will probably talk to this time with the UN, because there is the same problem in South America. There is the same problem in some in a lot of African countries, and equally in Asia. And this is one of our strengths. The strength is to understand the ecosystem, to be part of the ecosystem. We've got a lot of people in the company who are not only working in the company, but also who are volunteering in associations, in cooperative, engaged in politics, etc., etc. And this gives us a very relevant vision and perception of the trends of the society. We try to look forward, to look forward in the future.
Yeah.
And this is really important for us.
Thank you. I think for reason of times we have to stop because we have used our 45 minutes. So
oh God!
Yeah, already. So I would like to thank you a lot, Jean-Philippe, for bringing this message. It's a very special company, a cooperative company with all the challenges of developing internationally, bring the message beyond the company at the international level, the importance of the social issues, especially in your company, especially with regard to social issues, and how it translates into your business practices. We haven't talked about that, but I know two keywords for your company is values and practices. The practices is very important. It's not about discourses, it has to be translated into the practices of the company. You also said about this notion of the ecosystem, another word that I would like to take out of this discussion. The ecosystem is key in managing your company, in developing it. So engaging with all stakeholders around you. So I would like to thank you very much for being with us today.
Important. The ecosystem is really important.
Thank you. And thank you for all the participants and for the very interesting questions. Although I know we haven't answered all the questions, but I would like to invite you to look at the website, maybe to find more information. Thank you for everybody. Thanks a lot, Jean-Philippe. And bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you very much, and have a very, very nice day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.